Okay, when installing a carburetor like this, always read your instructions. Okay, because the instructions can be very, very informative, even if you think you're Mr. Know-It-All. And I was just looking right here, see, at this item right there, if you look at that, it says, do not use an open face adapter plate. So when I saw that, I was interested in that because we have one of those on our intake manifold, but then as I read further, I read that that's for a quadrajet or a thermoquad intake manifold, which is a stock manifold on those engines. So, I'm okay with that, but it's very important to always read. It shows you all your diagrams where everything goes, how to set everything and adjust everything. So always remember to read your directions. Don't just think you know everything and go ahead and do it. All right, take your time and instruct yourself with the paperwork that comes with it. So, what I got to do, I got all my adapters put on here. I had to put the adapter back here for the power brakes. That's very important. Okay. I had to run over to the Napa store to get me a PCV valve because the owner didn't have a PCV valve on his car. And that's another important item that you got to have. Okay. Believe it or not. So we're gonna go ahead and get ourselves all fixed up with that item. And the only last thing I got to do, I got to take my linkage off right here for my carburetor. So I'm going to get my wrenches out if I can see what I'm doing. So I got to take all this off, see, because I got to have this on my other carburetor or my low carb rated cable linkage, throttle cable linkage won't work. So that's a very important step in hooking the carburetor up. Okay, here we are. Let's get that carburetor on. You see it right there in the behind me. Let's get it on that hole right there and see what happens. Wow, looks great. If you notice, an Edelbrock doesn't take up as much space, and actually looks a lot better in here than Holly, in my opinion. But once again, you know, it's all what you like and what your taste is. There's people out there that are going to argue and say Edelbrock sucks. You know, Demon's the best. I had a Demon carburetor on one of my street rods. It was the best carburetor I ever had. So, you know, go figure. So we properly tighten down the bolts, as you see right here, with our wobble head ratchet. And this linkage actually should go on exactly where the old linkage was, because this is a direct GM bolt-on carburetor. Shouldn't have no problem with our linkage popping on there. Hopefully, anyway. We'll see. Then we're going to have to stretch that one out just a little bit. How about our kickdown? Our kickdown cable looks like that's going to be all right. Okay. So we'll loosen that up a little bit. And now we got to adjust this just a hair. And then we got the choke. See, we got to adjust all that. All that needs adjusted. So we got the carburetor on. I'm going to check my lines again. My bolts, I mean, I'm sorry, did I say line? That should be line. That one has a little bit loose. Alright. This one. There we go. It's good to have your bolts tight, but don't tighten them too much. Okay, so I got to hook up my brake line, power booster, airline power booster. Get that hooked up. There we go. That's nice. I like that. And then, got to hook up our PCV valve, and also, this ain't gonna work. Also, our, might work, might be lucky. Work. Hook up our vacuum line. There we go. Okay. We also got to hook up our PCV valve. And that one's not long enough. Where did I put that hose I just bought? It's very crucial putting on a, when you put on a carburetor, that you don't have no air leaks. Air is a very crucial point in carburetors. So what I'm going to do is on the carburetor itself, I'm going to go ahead and put a clamp. Now, we shouldn't need a clamp over here, okay? Because it's got the barbed end on it. And I don't know if you know what I'm talking about. If you can see me, I don't really want to move my camera. I'm talking about the PCV valve here. That's what we're talking about. Okay, that's got a barbed end on it, so we really don't need a clamp on there. That will go ahead and seal it tight. Be sure that. Here's our PCV valve right here, see? Can you see that? Alright, so I'm going to put that on there, like so. And it does have a barbed end. A barbed end means once it goes on, it's hard to get off. I'm sure there's a bunch of you out there that know exactly. I'm going to run this around through the bottom here. See, I don't want to pull it on there. There we go. Okay, so we got everything hooked up. Now we got to hook up our fuel line, and I think we're going to be on the road to recovery here. That's 3/4. Got to hook up my choke. Which one's fucking around? Ain't that a bitch? Wire directions come in handy, see? I didn't look to see where the choke was, so now I gotta go look at my directions. And that's why I say, that's why directions come in handy. So we get our directions here, see, and we're going to look it over to make sure all our connections are hooked up, right? And yes, I have done this before. I'm not trying to be a... I always like to double check everything, see? I do it. So I got to hook up my ground wire to my choke. It tells me that's an easy hookup, but I'm having second thoughts here. Especially at this angle. All we got here is this side. It says Texas, and I want it to be barely open, barely closed, where it's just sucking. Okay, that's the wrong way. Okay, here we go. If you look close, as I'm turning the electric choke, you can see the butterfly opening and closing. Now what I want to do is I want that open just a little bit, see? Okay, see how when I and open it, because this is Texas and it's not it doesn't get 30 degrees below zero, so we don't want the choke on that long, see? So that looks pretty good right there. I'm going to go ahead and close that up. Make sure those bolts are tight.